Well, hello. I am with Director Jim Capobianco and Director of Innovation at Dassault Systèmes, Frédéric Vacher. I'm delighted to be meeting with you here in Paris on the Champs-Élysées to discuss the animated film The Inventor that you co-directed with Pierre-Luc Granjon, following the footsteps of Léonard de Vinci. So, Jim, this is your first time co-directing a feature film. In the past, you directed a short film called Leonardo. Why are you so fascinated and inspired by the figure of Da Vinci?
Well, I think it goes back to that short film. I learned so much about him making that film that I wanted to expand it into a feature film. And the biggest thing I wanted to explore was this humanity of Leonardo da Vinci and not just the genius of Leonardo da Vinci. So I thought within a feature film format I could explore that even further. You know, he was had grocery lists in his drawings. He had bosses he had to, work for, apprentices who made him, pissed him off. So he he was human, just like the rest of us. So I wanted to kind of touch on that in a feature film. And then learning more about the period of him being in France, I learned about Marguerite and the king, and I thought all these pieces coming together would be make a lovely film.
So after writing Ratatouille about a rat cooking in Paris, and now you're exploring the French days of Leonardo da Vinci, are you trying to tell us that you just love France?
Of course. Who wouldn't love France? Yes. If France keeps following me, I think
Or is it the other way around?
Maybe. So, I keep falling back into France. It's okay. I like it.
It's okay. I mean, we're welcoming you with open arms. So this film was developed in France by Foliascope studio in Saint-Péray near Valence. So when and how did Pierre-Luc Granjon, your co-director, join the project, and how did you work together?
Pierre-Luc joined the project. Well, I should back up. So I was looking at Pierre-Luc's films when I was looking for inspiration when I was developing the film, and I just loved his films. And I didn't think I'd ever meet him or he'd be my co-director. I never knew him. So when we connected with Foliascope Studios, Ilan Yarose, who runs the studio, said, I told him about Pierre-Luc's films, and he said, well, do you want to meet him? I was like, sure. And do you want him to be your co-director? I was like,
why not?
What? Yeah, okay.
You were starstruck.
Yeah, it's true. And it was perfect because I was inspired by his films, so we had the same sensibility, obviously. And it was like two long-lost brothers, finding each other again, and it was really perfect.
Yeah, it works beautifully on film. So tonight's event is hosted and organized by Dassault Systèmes, who organized a 3D design challenge for their engineers. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that and how you ended up working with the animators and the engineers?
Yes, actually, we run a huge community project for years. The objective is to inspire designers and engineers to recreate the machines in 3D based on the codex or manuscript of Leonardo. And as you know, they are very small, they are drafts, so it leads to many interpretations. So that was the source of this discussion. And when the team of Jim known this project, they contacted us to team up, as they need to manufacture the machines, the mock-ups for doing the stop-motion animations. They had to know how those machines work, how it runs in terms of kinematics. So it helped, I think, on this front. And also, for manufacturing the machines or parts of the machine, they used, 3D printing technologies to make it happen. So, on one side, it's low tech, I would say, because stop motion is the ancestor of the animation film. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, it's very high tech because there are some technology behind about digital twins that nobody would suspect.
No, it was the perfect encapsulation of Leonardo da Vinci because you had this old school technique of stop motion and handcrafted art form mixed with the new technologies of today, which I'm sure Leonardo da Vinci, if he was live today, he would make the film with the new technologies and not with old technologies. So I think that tapping into the engineers and the thinkers of today to help us develop the film was perfect. A film about Leonardo da Vinci.
So these machines actually work. The things that you designed.
They do,
They could fly and they could.
Well, the boat actually works. The paddle boat, which was the winner of the competition, it actually animates. Like you put the puppet on it, it'll actually push the gears and it starts to turn. And it's quite well crafted and engineered. And we couldn't have figured it out without the help of Dassault Systems.
So you mix the engineer's craft with the animation, with the stop motion, and you also mixed just two types of animation in this film. Why is that, and how did it work together?
Well, I wanted to make the film with the two handcrafted forms of animation, stop motion and drawn animation. And I felt the drawn animation would fit in nicely because of what we know about Leonardo da Vinci and his sketches and all that. So the way it works in the film is the stop motion world is kind of the real world where everything is taking place. And then this 2D animation is used for Leonardo's imagination, flights of fancy, if you will, like his freedom is all, his dreams, are done in drawn animation because there's a fluidity and a freedom to drawn animation that stop motion animation doesn't have, because stop motion animation is restricted by the puppets and the gravity and sort of our laws of universal laws of life. But this 2D, you could do whatever you can do as long as you can draw it. So those two work great together, and so it's been one of the biggest compliments we've gotten about the film is how well they integrate. So that's been quite nice.
Well, again, it works beautifully.
Thank you.
So this cast includes Stephen Fry, Daisy Ridley, Marion Cotillard. How did this amazing cast come together?
Well, Stephen was the person I always wanted to voice Leonardo because he's such a polymath himself. And he's also got a lighter voice and a humorous voice, and he can bring humor to it. And I didn't want a big booming Gandalf-y voice, like a big Ian McKellen kind of guy, which you might think with a bearded sage like Leonardo you would need. So he was perfect. This is who I always wanted. So he jumped on it really early on. He was happy to be asked to be Leonardo da Vinci. Daisy, I thought would be perfect just because she has a great sincerity in her voice but also a power in her voice. So she was who I wanted, and luckily, she said. I don't know. Everyone said yes. Marion actually. Marion came through Elon. I think he suggested Marion Cotillard, and I was like, "What? How can we get? There's no way we're going to get Marion Cotillard." And then I don't know how that came together. But
well, why not? I mean, you have to dream. That's the point.
That's
of the
right.
movie.
You dream, and
Dream
there
on.
she is, and so it's just perfect casting. She came in,
so they all
she loves
sing.
stop motion, and because Marion actually was the last person we figured gave her a song. Because everybody else had a song, and then I told my composer, Alex Mandel, I said, "Hey, we have Marion Cotillard in the film. She should have a song." And so it was perfect because we figured out the great spot for her to have a song, which is a nice little coda to her character, which works out perfectly.
So music is of great importance in the film. Did you always know that you wanted it to be that way? Maybe it's your Disney legacy talking.
Well, I always wanted music itself, like the soundtrack, to be very important and to be different than it's usually used in other films. And Alex and I had worked on the film early on because the film had been in development, I guess you could say, for like 10 years. So during that time, Alex and I would work on the themes of the music and ideas. And it really, by the time we got into production, we had it pretty well locked into the music we wanted, which isn't usual for animated films. So we could actually at some points give it to the animators to hear, to be inspired by, to animate to. We could really lock it in. Then the songs came in later, though. They weren't like, it wasn't originally that I was like, it's going to be a musical or something.
It almost is.
It is. It's not a musical, though. I have to tell people. It doesn't follow the musical format, so it's not really a musical. It's more like a Pinocchio, Disney's Pinocchio, where it has songs in it, but I never think of it as a musical.
It's a good balance.
Yeah, exactly. So the songs just grew. The first one was the workshop song where he builds his workshop, and I didn't want him to just move into a building already set up. So I thought it'd be neat if the building built around him, and then it felt musical to me, or like a song. So then we were like, well, maybe we make it a song. So that was first. Someone said, how can you have a song at the end of the first act or the beginning of the second act and not have one earlier to tell us there's songs in it? So I was like, well, maybe the Pope has a song. And then it just...
And then you were just having so much fun.
It snowballed from there.
It just got out of control.
It did. There's like weeds.
So Da Vinci was an inventor, an innovator early on. But he also wanted trees and pure air in the city. Do you think that today innovation can be clean?
Red. It must be clean. I think as we are in the innovation sector since 40 years, especially with the virtual worlds for the industries, for many years the industrials were pushing us to help them in doing better performances, in optimizing their engineering design, reducing cost, reducing planning. That was their real preoccupation. And I believe now, for some years, then they need to do something on their impact. The impact of a product, maybe you don't know, but 80% of the impact of the product, any product, a car, or a table or chair, is defined at the engineering phase. And this must be reduced, and it can be through simulation. And now we offer simulations that helps the engineers to trade off. If they decide to take such and such material, such and such manufacturing process, or where they will produce, China, in Germany, in France, the logistic, all this can be simulated to be optimized, and this is what we provide them. So I think now they are conscious about this. They want to do something, and we are helping them to do better. So obviously, we cannot produce with zero impact. That's
You can reduce.
Naive to think about this, but what you can do is you can reduce to minimize your impact for anything. A plane, a car, a phone, everything you have around you can be optimized. This is what we are working on. I think most of the industries are now on it. And with my 3D Experience Lab, it's really what we do. Apart doing animation movies with Jim on the purpose of inspiring young generation. This is a kind of movie for education, for inspiration. This is the theme of this project. But we run many projects with startups to help them to succeed in their project that will help us to find solutions against our big challenges. So it's in all fronts, nuclear fusion for energy. It's about pollution. It's about health, cancer. I have more than 70 projects running in parallel, and most of them are really deep tech. And some of them are already delivering good results. I can fly with the sun only, for instance, a plane. So flying with the sun, it reduces significantly the impact. No pollution, no noise, no energy needed. and it replace helicopters or planes for monitoring. You know, it's to perform mission. So obviously it's not to transport people, but it's a perform mission, and those missions would have been performed with an helicopter, with a huge impact. Not telling that it's a huge cost. So we have now projects that are in operation and giving very good results.
It's very cool. Very Da Vinci.
Yeah, very Da
Love
Vinci.
it.
So in the movie, Da Vinci says, whatever the obstacles in life, you must always believe in your dreams and never give up. Is that something you have to keep in mind when you're working on an animating film over the course of several years?
Of course, yes, you do. Yeah. Maybe it's the only thing that keeps you going is belief, and then you bring in people around you who buy into that belief and then support that belief and then keep you fueled to keep going.
And the result is so worth it. It was very uplifting and very just lovely film that we cannot wait to see in theaters on January 31st.
Yeah!
Yay! So thank you so much, Jim and Frédéric. It was great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the movie then.
I enjoyed the movie.